Good morning, good afternoon to all the people here today. I'm very happy to be here representing Car Design News. I'm Abel Sampson. Sorry we're a bit late. We've had some technical issues with the videoing. I guess this is the challenge we have with live broadcasting, but sometimes the videos do work and don't work. We've got the team, CDN team, and the team from Italy working with us tirelessly to make sure that the videos are working. We've got some great videos to show you. Someone would hate for us to not be able to share them with you. Just to go through some general housekeeping before we get into the main driver of the session today. If you do have any technical problems, we've got a team who are here in the background to make sure that your experience is fluid. If you do have a drop-off, don't panic, just hit the exit button, come back in. Throughout the whole of the session, there'll be questions, so please ask some questions to our students. Our 14 students are here today, and the people at Politecnico di Milano and TAD. They were here to answer any questions you may have. But I'd like to just start by saying, you know, it's important that the traditional shows have been thrown off because of the pandemic, and it is extremely difficult for the students to engage with the industry. And these sort of environments give a chance for the students to share with you their insights and their visions, and for you to talk to them, because there's a chance here that this could be the style that you're looking for at this university. And the diversity of the group of people that we're going to see today and the opportunity to share their work is an amazing opportunity that we can share online. This will be recorded, so if you do miss the session or you do have a drop off, don't panic. We will be able to share it with you through our YouTube channel and Car Design News. But to start with, I'd like to bring on board one of the lead professors at TAD, Fausto Breve, just to do a little bit of an intro. So Fausto, hi, ciao, how are you?
Hi. I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, so if you can just do an intro for us. I'm going to turn off my camera now because I want to hand it over to you because you're going to go through some of the details today. So over to you, Fausto.
Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Fausto Brevi, as Abel said, and I'm here to introduce today's event, the graduation day of students that attended the 11th edition of the Transportation and Automobile Design course, a postgraduate specializing master course of Politecnico di Milano. Politecnico di Milano in Italy is a well-known university founded more than 150 years ago. It's a technical state university that trains engineers, architects, and industrial designers. In the QS World University Ranking, last year, Politecnico di Milano was the third in Europe for art and design subject. The Transportation and Automobile Design course is a Politecnico di Milano specializing master course run by Polydesign Consortium. That's due simply to the general organization of design activities managed by Politecnico di Milano, globally known as Polyme Design System. Today, we will see 3 projects developed by 14 students as their final thesis projects. These projects are very different each other, but all of them have a common background that is our way to teach how to manage a vehicle project. That means think far. This year we asked to think at 2050. That's the way to push students' imagination and creativity. Think to an extreme landscape. That is to look for extreme scenarios for extraordinary vehicles. Think to human needs. That's to design something useful around the human being of the future. Think a current brand of vehicles to couple with each project. That's to build a better knowledge on current brands and on their history. And improve your attitude to work in a group. And that's because no vehicle is designed by a single. and be part of a creative group is a very exciting and difficult experience, but it's also a very useful empowerment for gaining a more professional way to work. So now let me to introduce our chairman, Mr. Andrea Rosati. Andrea is an Italian guy currently involved as design manager in UK at Jaguar, and he is also graduated at Politecnico di Milano University. Andrea will introduce to all of you the students and the projects. So thank you very much to all of you for your attendance, and thank you very much, Andrea, for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
So now it's time to stop my voice. Andrea, it's your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Politecnico di Milano and Car Design News for this opportunity. I don't want to take too much time, so we'll go through all the projects of the students, the Megalopolis team, the Wildlands team, and the Water Cities team. And if it's okay, and if we solve the technical issues, there were 3 teasers video for each of the projects to show you. And then we will go through each of the presentation in depth, and I will ask some questions to the students. Welcome back. So I would like to introduce the first group, the Megalopolis team. So Elia, Somak, Massimiliano, and Andrea. And I would like to start from the first question to Somak. So the first question is, how do you think the mobility and the cities will evolve in the next decades? And how did you design a luxury vehicles for these landscapes?
Okay, hello everyone. Hello Andrea. To answer your question, mobility will be redefined in the next few decades in the highly advanced megalopolises with fully autonomous highways and vehicles. The need for a premium car in this world will increase to provide a mobility solution for the very important people and the people who wants to have a distinguished and positive image in the society. This will be a vehicle for the new generation of these important people who would prefer a deviation from the traditional way of luxury travel. Our persona is one of such people who socially and financially drive the city. She's a perfectionist by nature and a renowned architect by profession. She owns her own group of architectural firms and she shows keen interest in matters like design, art, and the development of the city. She travels mostly with her colleagues and business partners, but occasionally also with her friends. And luxury, safety, privacy, and communication are the key priorities during her travel.
Great. So it's really interesting that you choose Lagonda as the brand for your project. So how did you interpret the ideals of this brand, Somak?
We think that Lagonda fits perfectly with the essence of a scenario and also with the needs of a persona. Always inventing new ways of travel, Lagonda basically marries cutting-edge technology with the best of luxury. So it's a very potent alternative to the other mainstream luxury brands, and therefore it attracts people who enjoys the best of luxury, but also without drawing too much attention. This essence of subtle luxury flows into the aura and which literally embodies the idea of elegance, innovation, and dynamism.
Great. So how did you start to design Aura?
Yeah, so keeping the scenario and more importantly, our persona and her needs in mind, we started with the target of providing the most comfortable and spacious interior for 5 full-size occupants. With a wheelbase of 4 meters and overall length of more than 6 meters, this vehicle not only offers exceptional cabin space, but also 2 large full-size luggage compartments. This vehicle is powered by an electric motor mounted on each wheel, and it's fueled by a bed-mounted battery pack, which is capable of providing a range of 1,000 kilometers. The car also has 4-wheel steering for better maneuverability and an active suspension system.
That's great. So my second question would be for Elia. So which were the main inspirations behind the design of Aura?
Well, starting from the external design, the idea was to create a modern sculpture on wheels. So we started working with simple volumes and sharp lines to recreate an idea of dynamism inspired by the design of a modern skyscraper. But at the same time, we wanted to maintain a feeling typical of classical art. In particular, we found interesting the idea of chiasmus, this dynamic balance generated by the intersection of 2 lines, one in tension and one at rest, that soon became the core of the project.
All right. So could you explain us which are the main design features of the car?
Of course. The final exterior design is a very dynamic, elegant and clean shape. It is the result of a central volume equipped with a special privacy glass that houses the passenger with plenty of space. Plus 4 protruded fenders that extend from this main body and help to create this intersection effect that runs the entire vehicle. In the lower part, you can also find this black element, which with its color continues to lighten and streamline visually the silhouette of the car while performing diffuser and splitter function, as well as housing the battery pack, ensuring a good airflow below the vehicle and lowering the center of gravity. Going into more details, as you can see in this slide, one of the things you may notice are these elegant headlights, the luminous signature of Aura, which are actually an extension of the front fenders. So they're made from a bone-like structural material and that is shatterproof and act also as a bumper. The rims are also designed to have a good aerodynamic behavior, and the shape is in line with the elegant and detailed design of the entire car. Last but not least, of the exterior detail, we have the Lagonda badge on the side. It has multiple functions. Primarily, it is on a side light position. And it is a hub to recognize and welcome the user when it's needed and automatically open the door. And aesthetically, it represents the focal point of the exterior design, recalling the center of the chiasmus.
That's great. So of course, like this car is really, really technological and has got a really, really specific package on the outside. So I would like to understand from Andrea how the technology in the packaging impact the interior design and how it is composed.
Thank you for the question. So in the interior design are based on the package of our vehicle, and the main inspiration comes from the living room concept with this vis-a-vis disposition to encourage the communication and the sharing inside our vehicle.
Right. So what are the key elements of the interior design?
The key elements are the 2 main seats for the car's owner. Between them, we can find a control unit to manage the virtual infotainment system. In the central space, can sliding and foldable table that remind the idea of aggregation around a sort of bonfire. And on the other side, we can find a well-integrated sofa to create a sort of continuity effect inside the entire volume of the interior. Now we can see better how the chaise lounge position and the normal position of the seat, the curved shape of the sofa that are designed to better accommodate 3 persons in a comfortable way, and the control unit to control all the vehicle infotainment system and the holographic system that is visible from all the passenger, and create a sort of new way to share contents inside the vehicle. In the interior mode, we can appreciate, thanks to the ambient light and the sound control, how is possible to create a serene and zen ambient, isolated from the external and chaotic environment, making the experience of the travel to another level, so more special.
Yeah, so you just talked about the experience of the car. So how do you live the experience of Aura?
Yeah, you live also with the experience also with the welcome approach that thanks to the adjustable ground clearance and the door opening is very ergonomical. This movement permits to achieve the best ergonomy in egress and egress, giving the possibility also to enter inside the car in a standing position. Here we can find 3 different traveling modes. That lounge mode, that is an informal moment to share with the guest, the relax mode, in which you can enjoy the travel in a chaise-longue position, and the sharing mode, in which you can use the technology of the hologram to share content with the clients, so in a business way, or with your friends.
Great. So my next question is about my expertise and my profession. So I would like to understand from Massimiliano, what was the inspiration behind the color material design for Aura, and how did you develop it in the design process?
Of course. So with our CMF proposal, we want to provide a special service that takes the experience of owning Aura to another level. Lagonda offers this special service package to personalize the interior and the exterior colors twice a year, taking inspiration from the theme of the season and the fashion collection world. So trims and colors are customized, inspired by the upcoming season, making the car suitable for each particular period, and also providing a feeling of newness throughout the year. As we see, there will be a fresh mood for the spring and summer selection, and one more warm and cozy mood for the autumn and winter. For the interior for the summer, yes, exactly. We have in the car there is an elegant and sophisticated atmosphere with cool colors and a sensation of freshness. We have precious materials like the linen and the high quality cotton elastic fabric for the seat and the sofa. And then we have the use of tech panels selected from the nautical yacht design. And all the interior is trimmed with gold plated details to provide a feeling of extreme luxury. The theme of the season, as we can see, returns also for the exterior color palette. We offer this free proposal for the spring and summer. We can see better the deep blue that reminds the power of the ocean. Exactly. A more elegant metallic light blue paint. The next slide. And for final, a more aggressive magnetic gray. All the colors configuration are detailed with the gold finishes and glossy black elements. For the autumn and winter interior, we have a sensation of comfort and safety. Basically, the sensation of being at home in a luxury living room with warm colors and materials. There is a soft carpet made by wool on the floor, and we have the use of dark black born wood elements. Here, the sofa and the seat are made by natural leather combined with an Italian ecological microfiber, and all the interior is detailed with bronze finishes and soft, warm LED lights. We offer also for autumn and winter free proposal, free option of colors, an elegant blonde champagne, a dark red that highlights the sensuality of our car. And for final, we can see a more classic Tuscan green color. All the exterior are detailed here with satin bronze finishes and black details.
That's great.
So thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank
now
you.
We would like to share with you a video that shows why Aura is more than a car, why it's something new and something very special. Because Aura is the new generation of travel. Aura is the new luxury experience. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much again to the Megalopolis team. So now I would like to introduce the second group of the Car Design Master Wildlands team with Kvanch, Diogo, Filippo, Riccardo, and Satyam for the project Bulwark. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. So,
hello.
Hi. I would like to ask the first question to Riccardo. So, of course, like all these projects are created for a proper future landscape. So could you explain briefly what is the setting that you imagine for Bulwark to give us a hint of the habitat of your vehicle?
Of course, Andrea. I'm very glad to explain it to you. So, as a brief, we were given the task to design a vehicle for the American market capable of operating in the wildest of the lands, taking as a reference setting Southern California region in the year 2050. After receiving the brief, we have started researching how the world could look like in that period and which are the forecasts for the future. We have analyzed that if the situation will not get better, the weather is predicted to change drastically, and especially places like Southern California will face extreme weather conditions such as sandstorm, flash floods, and drought. That's why capability, reliability, and flexibility have been our guidelines during the design of Bulwark. And since the beginning, we didn't have any doubt Land Rover would have been the perfect brand for this vehicle, since it represents all the values that the project aims to represent. Building machine capable of incredible things and constantly evolving.
Great. So who will this vehicle serve? Who will be the target of the vehicle?
Well, this is another interesting aspect. Going in depth with the brief analysis, we try to imagine also the morphology, how the morphology of those territories could adapt in the situation. We assume that the majority of people will move into the constantly growing megalopolises, while the inhospitable lands in between will be used for the production of raw material and basic necessity goods. After establishing that, we asked ourselves which kind of target our project is going to address. So we have created a fictional persona, Jim, a 46-year-old enhanced farming engineer who daily commutes from a small town to another, moving goods between his land holdings, facing very harsh condition of the road at a very slow speed. So a very off-road capable with the best cargo capacity is what Jim needs. But he is not the only one. Alternative user could benefit from such a vehicle, not only private, but official bodies also, such as state police, fire department, and search and rescue teams, which needs a vehicle capable of carrying all the equipment required, of moving a crew of people, and quick to reach the objective.
That's great. So now I would like to understand a little bit more about the exterior. So my second question is to Diogo. So what is the kind of what kind of design philosophy did you establish when designing while designing Bulwark?
So from the beginning, we had in mind as key features of our design the extreme off-road capability and good cargo capacity. From this initial point, we came out with the concept of the separation of volumes, in which the main body structure involves the cabin and storage compartments, creating an innovative contrasting game. This main structure is characterized by the large V-pillar, providing a sense of strength, and the side stadium element that supports the rear cargo box. Another key feature of our design is the glass bubble cabin inspired by aeronautical vehicles that has the aim to provide excellent visibility for an optimal off-road driving experience.
Great. So which were the technical aspects that guide you through the design of the car?
So after defining our design direction, we developed our package having in mind all the features that could provide an outstanding off-road capability, like big visibility angles, a low belt line, plus minus 220 millimeters of suspension travel, and good approach, breakover, and departure angles. For the powertrain of Bulwark, we opted for having 4 in-wheel motors, saving vehicle body space for increased habitability and good cargo capacity. On this image, we can also see the battery pack located under the cabin that has the biggest dimension that we could fit for a long autonomy. And other elements highlighted here are the side storage compartment and the full-size cargo bed. On the concept refinement phase, we developed the initial volume, trying to make it unmistakably Land Rover. In this phase, we defined most of the key lines and details of our final design, such as the horizontal tail light, the central headlights, and the front open mudguards, refining also the contrasting game. In this phase, we studied the door and storage compartment openings, opting for gull-wing front doors for easy entrance and exit of the vehicle. Here we can see our the study of our rear volume with the variations open and closed and some duty applications for it. Here we can see our vehicle's final design views with all its functional features represented. And this is our final exterior design renders. And here are some pictures of Land Rover Bulwark in its natural environment.
That's really, really great. So of course, like the exterior is really, really unique and has got really unique features. So how did this main concept also shape the interior of your design, Satyam?
It was really interesting to work in the Bulwark's interior, and our main concept led us to a truly ingenious and methodical design for every single component of Bulwark, such as the shape of steering wheel comes from its function, that is being an infotainment screen and the steering wheel at the same time. While the driving mode is activated, the screen will remain in the same position and the steering wheel come closer to the user and allow the steering to rotate around the screen. The steering wheel also comprises the switch control to ease the driving while off-roading. Together with that, the dashboard is designed in a way so it can utilize the space in front without compromising the comfort. It's straight geometrical and the linear design provides a better and non-interruptive view of the outer environment. The dashboard also has a common interface in the center that can be used by both the driver and the passenger. The seating of Bulwarks is based on the peculiar concept in which the cushions are divided so they can shift and change the size of seats, which means people with different shape and sizes can experience the comfortable interior of Bulwark. The infotainment screen in the back of front seat that will be able to provide all the information that the rear passenger needs. The screen can also come in the use as a personal device. This is the overall view of our interior, showing also the container under the rear seats that can be used as a toolbox and as a first aid box. This is the interior of Bulwark. Thank you.
Oh, great, great. So as we can see, like there are lots of functionalities in the interior. So I would like to understand from Filippo, if you can explain a little bit better, what are the exterior features of Bulwark and how did the users interact with them?
Sure, Andrea. Since the vehicle is very flexible, here we show you how it adapts to a search and rescue operation. While the team is getting ready, they receive an emergency call. They start their journey towards the accident site in driving mode, in which the passenger helps the driver finding the route, and they quickly reach the injured person, checking his status. They move him inside the vehicle easily, thanks to the big size of the bed area that allows paramedic to treat the injured. Now traveling in autonomous mode, the team is able to discuss about their tasks while commuting to the hospital, arriving in very short time and in complete safety. And now we will show you more in detail all the functions that help the daily experience of the user, like, for example, the extended side step for an easier bed accessibility from the side, or the retractable rear step, which make the ingress and egress more comfortable at the back. The side stadium element offers a generous storage compartment in which you can easily access to the main tools needed. Under the bonnet, since we don't have an internal combustion engine anymore, you have the possibility to store extra luggage. On the side, a well-integrated and wide step allows an easy ingress and egress even in case of slippery conditions, thanks to the 3D engraved gripping pattern. We also have studied door openings to make the action of getting in and out faster.
So do you have the same level of functionality also in the interior of the car, Philippe?
Yes, we do. The shape of exterior is related to the interior, so we can provide 3 different configurations of the space inside. We have driving mode, common mode, and the access to the rear cargo from interior. The driving mode allows you to take control of the vehicle in a very off-road situation. In common mode, front seats can rotate in order to have a conversation between all the occupants. There is a third mode in which it is possible to reach the rear bed volume through the sliding door by collapsing the rear seat at the back. In driving mode, the interactive infotainment system helps the driver to avoid dangerous situations.
Great. So it's a really, really cool project, and I would like to understand from Kvanch, what are the personalization of the vehicle? How can you customize Bulwark?
That's a great question. In fact, it's highly customizable. Our vehicle offers several different possibilities of color and trim options, as well as innovative materials. We have chosen new materials for a utilitarian interior. Some of the key ones I will briefly explain here. Starting from the corium bonded leather on the left, it's a manufacturing byproduct of ordinary leather. Small pieces of leather waste is reutilized and then strengthened with colored resin. Then we have the leather tex, which is our main fabric for the interior, mostly used for the seats, and it grants fire, water, and scratch resistance, so it's perfect for our type of vehicle. And finally, we have massa fabric coating. That is a nano-sized fiber film that actually coats the seat fabrics, increasing their endurance. As for the color and trim schemes, we have 3 of them. First one is our standard option. This is for daily use. And then we have a premium option for comfort and quality. And then finally, we have a heavy duty option for demanding transportation work, such as search and rescue, firefighting, or mountain patrol, as we've explained before. Now we will demonstrate you how our client can experience this customization options in virtual reality.
Great.
We have various color options for the exterior. Our color palette is in line with the brand and its heritage. We can even add a closed bed option if we would like to secure our rear storage and add some seating options. Our vehicle can also adapt and function in different environments, as we've discussed before. Here we can see it. So now let's see in detail our color and trim options for the interior. As we've said before, we have 3 main trims for the interior, changing the seats on the floor. Starting from this civilian standard trim here, we have gray colored fabric seats with blue accent for electric future feeling. Mainly intended for daily use, these are very comfortable and also durable materials. But then we have also a luxurious option for people who prefer a luxurious family pickup or a private vehicle. Brown corium bonded leather is used here for the seats. It offers premium feeling, also prestigious comfort. And this is our final one, which is our heavy duty trim with orange accent, giving a tough work machine feeling, using nanofiber coating extensively. This concludes our final part of the presentation of Bulwark. Thank you, Andrea, and thanks for everybody for watching us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I would like to introduce the final group. So water cities, Stefano, Fabio, Iona, Andrea, and Pasquale, which who will present us Haila. So hi guys, hi. So my first question is for Stefano. Of course, this is another example of a car made for a really, really kind of, let's say, extreme landscape and scenario. So according to your point of view, how will the morphology of coastal cities like Amsterdam or Stockholm and Copenhagen change by 2050?
Yeah, thank you, Andrea, and welcome everyone. So as you said, we focused on the cities like Amsterdam, Stockholm, and Copenhagen because we thought could prove to be good examples of how coastal cities are going to look like in 2050. We also made a lot of research on climate change and global warming, trying to understand how it's going to affect them. In fact, it turned out that because of seas rising, these cities will have overcrowding problems and will become more dense than today. For that reason, new solutions will have to be provided in order to account those problems. And one solution we found very interesting is the creation of floating residential areas that will be connected with the city center via both waterways and regular streets, and will provide new expansion possibilities to city, as well as a way of recovering part of the land being subtracted by sea.
Okay, great. So, and how do you imagine the mobility of a person kind of living in a floating neighborhood?
Well, the mobility is of course going to change quite a bit. In fact, because of the narrow streets and the few parking space available in those cities, the mobility will have to take into greater account waterways and canals in general and combine them with regular streets by the use of interchange spots such as ramps and elevators to move efficiently people throughout the city. To understand how this new mobility, which we define multi-layered, is going to affect the daily life of people, we created a fictional use of what we usually call a personas to further understand that. In our case, he's a real estate agent who travels about 100 kilometers a day with no fixed routine, meaning he constantly has to understand how to move from point A to point B throughout the city. He normally plans a lot his journeys in order to stay efficient because he constantly moves between water and land. For that reason, this phase of his journey is quite stressful, and when we set for the design phase later, we understood this was the main problem we had to solve. So try and provide a solution for mobility that would ease moving across the city.
Great. So my next question is for Yona. So what were the fundamental principles and intuition on which you developed the concept of HYLA?
Yes, Andrea. So water and air, this is the element that make up our reference. It's precisely from this that was born. The desire to create a vehicle perfectly compatible with the morphology of cities and with the habit of their inhabitants, to offer the possibility to transit from water to land in a simple and immediate way without having to change various transports. The starting point for the design research was the bicycle, the most widespread and used means of transport for these people. Therefore, the guideline of the HYLA project were the lightness and versatility to be able to move easily and switch from water to land without wasting time. The compactness, because we are in overcrowded cities with narrow streets and canals, with a lot of parking problems and problem space. Compactness, because we are eco-sustainability, because a fundamental aspect for these people is the coexistence with the nature and the contact with the external environment.
Great. So, and what is the story behind the name of the car? What's the meaning of HYLA?
Okay, so Andrea, you have to know that in addition to the bike and the boat, another fundamental source of inspiration was the animal world, in particular of amphibious animals. This is because they exactly reflect the essence of our vehicle. HYLA, in fact, little frog, small, versatile, and light. There are many more projects that take inspiration from amphibians, as we can see later, for example, lines, color, and texture. And also our logo is composed by the silhouette of the frog's paw.
Great. So Yona, what were the main elements that characterize HYLA's design and stylistic language?
Okay, so in this page we can see the developing of our shape, starting from some inspiration as the motorcycle and the glider. For example, the rear part is characterized by an alternation of full and empty volumes divided by straight lines, an aspect inspired to the motorcycle fork and tails. The main element of the vehicle are the transparent greenhouse on the upper part and the hull in the area below. The intersection between these two is linked by a central band that gives dynamism to all the lines of the side and embraces the vehicle along the entire perimeter. The windshield is so wide and enveloping to immerse the passenger in the external environment, recreating that feeling of freedom typical of the bicycle and the boat. About the interiors, also here, the main features are lightness and practicality. We design a monocoque that composes the trunk plane, the supporting structure for the seat, and the floor ground. In this way, we merge perfectly the interior volumes with the external shape. We use the fluid lines that recall the wave pattern of the sea and give a feeling of comfort. Last fundamental aspect, we keep just the essential, just few elements, but that all respond to a function, having as a result a light interior which gives an excellent living space and provide all the movement freedom needed. In this page, you can see the technical drawing from which the extremely compact dimensions are immediately understood. The volumes were designed starting from the human dimension, but in any case, giving the right space and the right comfort. The battery pack is located at the base, and the component weight is distributed equally so as to give an excellent balance even in the water, avoiding rolling and fluctuation. electric motors are internal to the wheels, and there are two luggage areas, one in the back and the other under the seat. Thank you, Andrea.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. So I would like to understand more from Pasquale. What were, of course, this is a car that can be used on the road and on the water. So what were the solutions that you considered to make these two kind of means of transport coexist?
Okay, so basically, being an electric amphibious vehicle, everything started with study in terms of fluidodynamics and mechanical performance. So according to the aeronautics approach, NACA profiles in the area of interest have been provided, while the wheels have been designed with a lenticular profile. The three-wheel configuration has been chosen to avoid obstructing the flow of water, which then arrives clean to the two high-efficiency water jets that provide the propulsion of water, as we can see. And for a correct dimensional management, the use of in-wheel motors, as we saw on the package, has also been chosen to facilitate the climb from a ramp, which brings the vehicle back from the water to the road. For the lower suspension, a leaf spring mechanism in flexible composite material has been adopted, and it's drawn in the immersed wing, while for the upper suspension, we were inspired by Formula One design.
Great. And there is another interesting aspect in the exterior of the car, which is the roof, right? So does this roof opening, and it's kind of really unique to see this kind of roof in this type of vehicle. So is there any design foundation behind your choice, or it was more aesthetic?
Okay, next slide. Beside having image, we also put an animation that explains better the roof opening. That is one of the strength points of our vehicle. About that, has been designed with a pantograph mechanism that allows the ingress to the center of the vehicle from the side to avoid the displacement of the gravity center when the vehicle is in the water. So the transparent part under the central band is intended to allow visibility during the docking work, and the Cat 8 on the hull is designed based on the water line, and at the same time to make it easier the ingress and egress on the ground for different percentiles. About the opening from the outside, there is an hollow handle, as we can see, and while for closing from the inside, the armrests are used as the handle. In conclusion, on the middle back part of the roof, above the seat, we see a texture that is applied to filter the sun rays. That's all. Thanks.
Great, thank you. So, of course, this car is this kind of vehicle, more than a car, is really compact. So, Andrea, can you explain a little bit more about which were the ergonomic aspects that have been adopted to make the experience of Hyla comfortable?
Okay, Andrea. Space has been optimized to the maximum by attributing more function to elements. The platform would leave the central space free to allow the ingress and ingress from the vehicle without obstacles. For this reason, there is a clutch to drive instead the classic steering wheel that would clutter too much. We decided to access the luggage compartment from inside the vehicle because it's the best solution to load in a stable situation. For example, when you are in the water. This means less weight because there are fewer components and economic advantage. The seat is hooked directly to the vehicle body, in addition to exploiting a mesh structure and its deformation to adjust the height on different users, and therefore perfect for our fixed edge point. Has a limited weight and thickness thanks to the 3D printed technology. It's made of a polymeric material, which makes it water repellent and suitable for use both in water and on the road. The upper part of the seat is used to access the luggage compartment. Just lift and rotate the backrests. A similar attention can also be found in the armrest, which in Hyla also serves as an internal handle to close the dome and has an interchangeable system of control clutch and infotainment rotor, so as to adapt to the right-handed and the left-handed users without to need to create two different versions. It has been designed to accommodate all percentiles and to better stabilize the human body when sailing the water. For the shape of the dashboard, we were inspired by motorcycle handlebar, and for the management of the screen, we thought of a more classic solution with inforotor or through gesture and vocal control.
Great. Thank you, Andrea. So in conclusion, I have one last question for Fabio. So of course, we've seen like a persona at the beginning of the presentation, but HYLA seems to be like a vehicle for a multitude of targets. So how is this right? So is this car for like different targets?
Absolutely, yes, Andrea. The person of reference is indeed the perfect example of target audience. So a dynamic person who needs a flexible vehicle that adapts quickly to the environment. However, we want to offer more design choices to the audience to appeal different tastes. In fact, we develop a sport version which includes innovative features built with new high-tech materials and fluorescent touches, buff elements that stress the dynamic soles of the car. Here, the next slide, we can see the rendering set. And also, we added a version inspired by nature to meet the taste of an audience more sensitive to climate changes and protection of the planet. We use recycled materials with the intention to fight pollution. We added antiseptical feature and to reduce the issues due to the growth of allergic reaction. Here we can see the rendering set. And lastly, we added a more minimalistic and elegant version for people who want a unique touch to embellish their vehicle. Here, more matte colors and copper and gray finishing create a luxury contrast for a more sophisticated vehicle. Next slide, we can see the last rendering set. And so, thank you so much, Andrea, for all. And now, let's dive into a coastal city of 2050, traveling with HYLA. Enjoy.
Great. Thank you so much to all the groups and all the designers. It was really, really amazing for me to have the chance to ask you some questions on your project. So I will probably turn my camera and microphone off to go to the question and answer session of the webinar. So again, thank you so much for listening, and yes, let's go with the questions.
Hey, Andrea, please stay on the screen if you like. I mean, I'd like to ask you some questions.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, one of the most incredible things. I want to start by apologizing on behalf of Car Design News that the videos were a bit bitty. I saw some of the students, they put so much work into this. We really appreciate it, but this was the technical issue we had. Don't panic, anyone. We're going to embed the videos afterwards and they'll be playing smoothly. There was some sound issues more than anything else. So I want to welcome back Fausto as well. So we'll have the three of us, the three amigos, to do the Q&A session. At first glance, Fausto, can you turn on your camera and join us and turn on your audio so we can have you on the screen, please? We've actually got a question, and I guess it could be to the students, but I wanted to keep you on the screen because it says, in times where the industry prepares itself for autonomous mobility, how important is it for this concept having 2 steering wheels. So, Andrea, as we don't have a student here, it may be worth you answering that question. Is it important with autonomous mobility to have 2 steering wheels? Oh, we have Ricardo.
Hello?
Ricardo, can you answer that question?
Yes, can you repeat the last part of the question, because I didn't get.
Yes. In times where the industry prepares itself for autonomous mobility, how important is for this concept having 2 steering wheels?
Well, of course, we are very aware of how the future is going to change the driving experience of our vehicle, but especially the autonomous mobility, we think that is more relevant in those kind of scenarios in which you are more able to control it, because it's a very complicated and tough task to manage. Now, as you know, you need to change not only the vehicle itself, but all the infrastructure of the cities in which you move. So especially we designed the steering wheel with that configuration because we take very much attention to the scenario in which we had to design the vehicle for. That was this very Wildlands. So the autonomous mobility there will be even harder than it would be if it would have been for normal cities or megalopolises. So having the control, the actual physical control of the vehicle, and of course in those situations that for emergency, the driver maybe could have an issue that he cannot take control of the vehicle, so the passenger can help him like immediately, instantaneously, taking care of the driving of the vehicle, while the actual driver can operate on something else. That's why this is the main reason behind the decision of having 2 steering wheels.
Samag, do you want to add to that?
No. I was actually asked to join in the video. So.
Okay, excellent. So we've got Stefano with his large hair here, and Somak, who looks like my son, and we've got Ricardo. So you can see the diversity of the group we have here today. I've got another question that's come in. How did you overcome the challenge of the lockdown? Okay, it's not about the work, but you guys are students. You're in Milano, one of the coolest cities in the world with the most fabulous shoes and some of the most amazing architecture. How did you deal with the lockdown and motivating as teams?
Well, basically the shoes did not come into use during the lockdown. So neither did the architecture, but yeah, we the online platforms helped a lot. Our university helped a lot. We had regular conferences and we worked on the project. Basically, as much as we could do, even when the lockdown was, there was no lockdown. So basically, there was not much difference. Only difference was that we couldn't meet up physically, but that did not affect the project in any way. So basically, the final result was pretty much the same. Only the method of working was a little different.
Okay, Stefano, do you want to add to that? Do you want to give your opinion on the lockdown scenario?
Well, I think someone already said all the right things. You know, we are designers, so we have to find new solutions when it comes new problems. And I think we were able to really adapt to the situation quite easily. You know, there was not much of a difference. Of course, you can touch the models, you can sketch together, it's a little bit different. But you know, in the modern world with technology, it's so easy to keep in touch and be connected. So it was pretty, yeah, it was seamless, really.
So Ricardo, did it enhance any more different senses? Because obviously Stefano mentioned about touching models and being involved. Did you have to sharpen up other skill sets under lockdown?
Well, yeah, definitely the physical aspect is the one that is mostly affected. But I actually felt about this lockdown the impossibility to interact with the people, more than also aside from the physical work job like modeling or sketching, like or in sessions. What I missed is the interaction with the people physically, because working with your group members together, having you face to face, it's very easier for me to work, to understand. Maybe if something I say or something I do is not understood or not liked by my colleagues, that is, for me, in a group work, is the most important thing, to understand each other and to have a better environment. So that part, for sure, the sense of the interaction with the people, yeah, it's something that, unfortunately, with this typology of working, it's something that is a bit chopped.
Yeah, so the question that was asked about lockdown, the person has responded and said, thank you for the insightful information. Thank you for the insightful information and interesting the way that you work together. Okay, I've got a question here. This is quite a long one, so bear with me while I try to work out where it starts and where it finishes. Is for the Lagonda luxury team, how is the luggage and luggage space going to be affected in the future? Namely, are people going to carry more luggage, or as such, there would be more space in there to carry the luggage as they use these vehicles as living rooms? So does the vehicle have adaptability, or can you see the vehicle having adaptability to take more luggage?
Okay, so basically the idea of having more luggage is basically, since we have this electric platform and the motors pushed to the wheels, we had the space, the free space to allot them for luggages. It's not because people would have more luggage in the future, but it's to give an option of having of carrying more luggage if you want to. That is basically luxury in one sense, to have options. So basically, if you don't carry luggage, it's fine. If you need to carry luggage, there is an option that you can do it. There is a provision for that. So that is basically the idea that we had. It's not because it's a must in the future, but because you just, if you want to, you can do it. That's basically the idea.
Does anyone want to add to that? Do we feel that as we're coming through the pandemic, do you think that people are going to carry more in the vehicle? Is the vehicle going to become more of a living space, more of a safe environment for you to be in and work in as we work more remotely? Have you got any opinions on that? Can I give that to Ricardo?
Yeah, I really hope that the mobility in general will develop in a way that it will be more useful also to travel, because living in Rome, basically, I suffer a lot of the lost time in the traffic, being stuck in the traffic jam now to go to work. And so it would, I hope that I will work for making the mobility going through a direction in which this kind of issue are solved. Hopefully, yeah. I dream about mobility transportation that are like your living room now, in which you can relax and do other things. So I hopefully believe that we will go in that direction, and definitely it's a very interesting scenario, future scenario. Yeah.
Okay, can I keep you three still on the screens, please? So don't turn off your cameras. Fausto, can I bring you back into the conversation? Because I want to talk to you about the students, about the college. Now, you've obviously been involved with these students, with the team at TAD, these incredible students with their work. I mean, for me personally, seeing the work several times, seeing how they've actually dealt with the holistic approach of the whole vehicle and working in teams is very impressive, and embrace the brands as well, getting the brand message across. What have you seen and experienced through the lockdown period of being out of lockdown and now being in lockdown and seeing what these amazing students have created? Has it inspired you? Have you been surprised, or was it expected that the work would be this good?
Yeah, good question. Because of course, for everybody, the lockdown has been a sort of a shock, a sort of a surprise that wasn't completely unexpected. And so, as Stefano said before, we are designers, so we had to find a quick solution and possibly a good solution. But I feel that at the end, as Riccardo said, we lose something because it was impossible to avoid that. So, for example, we lose some weeks that was planned to be still dedicated to develop a physical model, and that of course was not possible to close. But at the opposite, we were able to train in some way, to train them, to train the students to a way to work that will be anyway the future of working, because also without the pandemic, if you are involved in one of the global manufacturer with different styling department around the world, it's very useful also to have an experience in which you are involved in working in a team located in different places. So we have tried to switch a worst thing in something positive, and I was really impressed by the quality of the project at the end, because of course I was not so sure that everything could work fine until the end. And instead, of course, we pushed much more the digital solutions and tools, but the final result was great for me.
Yeah, I think it's amazing how people have adapted and have been flexible with the lockdown. But what is surprising is the quality of work that has been performed by your students. I think it must make you extremely proud to see them step up as group members. And I would like to add to that, you know, part of being a designer, which Stefano, Riccardo, and Samek have really shown that they see themselves as designers, which they are, maybe young designers, but designers. The professionalism of their presentation skills. So telling a story is an extremely important part of the design message, whether that be through your sketches or through a video. But at the end of the day, you have to communicate that. So it's the human being, there is an engagement. And I was extremely impressed by the amount of clarity and confidence shown by all of you. And again, is that something, Justo, you teach the students? Is that something that you train them for?
Yes, absolutely. We one of the topic that we have in our course and that we highlight a lot, and we try to explain to students how important is exactly how to work in a group that is a creative group, because there are a lot of training for team building and so on, but it's a different stuff when you have to be involved in a creative group in which everyone should have a great idea, to be sure about that his idea is the best in the world, but then there is someone over you that decide that maybe the idea of another one is better, not necessarily the best, but better in that situation than yours. And at that time, you don't have to lose your confidence, you lose your enthusiasm, but instead to move your force in supporting your teammate for pushing his idea with something of you and that is the key part is a key part of our course, because you know, in the real world, nothing is designed by a single guy today. Probably it wasn't so also in the past, but absolutely true today. Every new project is a team project. Also, if in the magazine, in the website, there is usually a man that is the image of that project, but is not the man that did that project. Is one, probably is the coordinator of the project, is the reference inside the company for that project, but is not a single man made any project. So no, for us is really a key point to train and to teach them how to work as a group.
Okay, so I have some good news. We can actually play the videos, but we're going to get to that in a minute. So the video is going to be crystal clear, but in the embedded videos, guys, we will embed them properly. So when the recording is sent out, I've got a question to Somak. Now, I'm assuming, now apologize if I'm wrong, but Stefano and Riccardo, you are both Italian. Is that correct? Can you shake your heads? Are you Italian? Yeah. Right. So
yes.
Somak, you're an international student. Can I assume you're not Italian? Your surname doesn't sound Italian. And
no,
you may look Italian, but your face doesn't. So how's your experience been being an international student in Italy, studying in Milan with TAD? How was your experience been? Because I'm going to ask Riccardo and Stefano the same question, but in a different way. So how's that been?
So in short, I would recommend everybody in the world to come to Italy and study or work or just stay here. It has been really great working here, and the thanks goes to my classmates, the university, everybody. There, it's honestly there is a language gap, and since I don't know Italian, so there has been some difficulties with the language gap. But I assure you, people here, not just in the university or my classmates, but people in Italy as a whole, they are really helpful and they're very friendly. So you won't have any problem if you're going to study here or work here. So do it.
Okay, so a similar question, but slightly different. Let me start with Stefano. If you know you're a student, you're graduating, you're looking for a job. What is your key takeaway, the experience that you've had for TAD that is going to help you to your next move? Can you tell me in your own words what you think one is your key takeaway?
I think, apart from all the skills and abilities that I learned throughout this year, I think the real takeaway is the ability, to cooperate with different people coming from different places, with different backgrounds, and in general being able to work as a team, in the same direction. At times even, in contrast, but in the end, pushing in the same direction to create the final project at the best that we can. I think really, the ability to work as a team is what I will really take away and keep with me in the next experiences.
Okay, and a slightly different question to Riccardo, because I like to keep Riccardo on his toes because he has a nice beard like me. Riccardo, so you're Italian. I mean,
yes.
You went to Italian college. Where would you like to end up? So would you like to end up an Italian car brand, or is the world your oyster? Can you give us a feedback, a feeling of where do you think your career could go from here?
Well, of course, my first, let's say, purpose is to keep working and developing myself here in Italy, because there are a lot of possibilities here, well-known opportunities. But I have to be honest that I'm also like a very always in search for new experiences. So. Going abroad to have a job probably it's something that I'm really considering. I don't have like one best option. Either way is fine for me, because I really, after experiences, all this year in Italy, having another experience also working for with people like Somac that comes from different places of the world. Now it excites me to discover new cultures, new way of thinking. New, each one has his own routines. Now, so I would really like to. If I see myself, if I don't find an opportunity here in the immediate future, I definitely looking for somewhere else in Europe, or I don't have any problems also outside Europe. But like Land Rover, for example, could be. I really love to come to England because I've never been. So that would be very nice.
Yeah, I think the only problem you have in England is the food is very bland. So I can see Somac laughing as well. So the Italian food is far better than the English food, trust me, especially in Land Rover Jaguar. And Andrea would agree with me. The food is very basic in the UK. So you have to bring some Parmesan with you.
I agree that in this, I'm on holiday in Italy for like last 2 weeks. And yeah, the food here is a little bit better, but UK is an amazing place where to work. I think that the ethic of work here is great, and I really like it.
Yeah. So what I would say is, look, you guys are representing 3 or 14 students here. And I know, Fusto, it's very important that these guys are the only 3 that we've allowed on the screen just because of space and time. But we've heard from all of them. Is there, for me personally, is there, and for our audience, is there 3 main takeaways you would like to share with us about TAD, about this degree students, and about this year as a whole? Is there 3 key takeaways you'd like to give to our audience to finish the session?
Good question. And a triple question. Well, first of all, the main goal of this presentation was to show and to highlight these guys, these students. So I hope that people that attended the today event have understood the quality and the capacities of all of them. And if there is someone from companies involved in transportation design, I hope that they will take care of them at least for a check, for a more in-depth look at their portfolio and so on. And secondly, I hope that people that attended have understood our way to teach the way to develop a vehicle design, because we are very careful to try to teach not simply how to draw, not to do simpler styling approach to a new project, but to develop a real design stuff. That's also because of our background. We are a technical university. We are living and teaching face to face with colleagues from engineering departments and so on. And so for us is very important to do something like the project that we have seen today, that are in the future, but are not something impossible, something that are just fiction, but all of them are something that are moved in the future, but in some way feasible. Maybe not today, but in a short time, reasonable, yes. Also a third one. Well, the third one is what I already said about the importance of team working for us, and how important, because this is something that is also misleading for some companies when they have to look for just graduated students, because then in their portfolio there are the same project in different portfolios, and for companies it's not so easy to understand, oh, okay, you were involved in this project, but also him and also him, so what is your real capacities in a real process? And I understand that, but at the same time, I believe that is so important to teach the teamwork way, that we will try to find a way in supporting students in developing their portfolio in a way that they are able to highlight their skills, but we don't want to skip the teamwork.
Yeah, I do. I think, you know, as you know, Fausto, and I don't know if the guys know this, but I've actually sent some emails to the Aston, BMW and Land Rover teams to say to them, look, if they could join today. But now that the presentation is live, I will be sending them your presentations to say, look, you know, these guys are taking it to the next level. And this will be from Car Design News, because we've been very impressed by the standard of work. But again, I must say that, you know, if you want to contact the college, by all means do directly. You can, Alicia, you can contact her. You can come back to me at Car Design News and we can put you in contact with the students. It's important that these guys get the opportunity, because this is the next generation. And as Andrea will tell you at Jaguar, we're always looking for the skill. We're always looking for the talent. We're always looking for the spark. But I want to finish by thanking the guys who did the presentation, the Andreas, I'm going to call them, Asmi, Diego, Ella, Fabio, Filippo, Gabriel, Jonah, Massimilio, which is the coolest name, Pascal, Ricardo, Satnam, Samak again, Stefano. Thank you all, guys. We are honored. I'm going to turn off my camera because I'm just looking too old here. We're honored to have you all here today. You're all superstars in the eyes of Car Design News, and you're all available for jobs. So if anyone wants to contact these guys, please go directly back to the college or come back to Car Design News and we will put you directly in contact. And we want to give a big thumbs up and a big wave from the team, from Tad, if we can have a big wave from all of you. To say goodbye to everyone. Can you give a big wave? Bye-bye. Italian. Bye-bye. The videos will be uploaded, guys, and thank you everyone for your time today. And join us next week for Land Rover are going to be covering the Defender. So hopefully the Land Rover guys here will be able to go online and watch that. And thanks again, Andrea from Jaguar, for being our main presenter and moderator today. Thank you, Andrea. I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao, everyone.
Thank you very much. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.